And welcome to Tesla Life number 197. Here we are on what is it? Oh, the 14th already of April,
Yeah.
2021. Hope you're all having a good time today. And I'm still mesmerized with that opening thing that Casey's put in place. I'm watching the numbers going around. Good job, Casey.
Thank you.
But
So the trick is each action is a beat of a second.
so it's even keeping beats in the music.
Yeah, so it's like 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, go.
Well, we have our regular panelists with us tonight. Mr. Casey Green joins us from the DC area. How are you today, sir?
Doing pretty well. Managed to avoid most of the rain today. It does mean I didn't get to finish my deep dive video, but the car has exhibited some interesting new behaviors. I can't wait to dig into them tomorrow and see what we get.
Very good. Also on the other side of the continent, Mr. Patrick Connor joins us from the Portland area. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to our Supercharger chat, my fun time of the week where we talk about all things in the Muscoverse and try to bring about a future free from fossil fuels.
Yeah! Got it in early. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And Hockey Day is the first in the chat.
Nice. Congratulations, Hockey Day.
We know we're online. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, let's get right into it. Our first story of the week is a Canadian story. There's a company called Mosaic Forest Management. They're based in Vancouver, British Columbia, and they actually what they do is they're a logging company. They perform logging on Vancouver Island. And for those who aren't familiar, Vancouver Island off the west coast of Canada has a fairly mountainous terrain. And this company has ordered a Tesla Semi to test out a pilot program for them. Now, the interesting thing is that this could really work out well for them because of how it's set up. In forestry, they're typically going to the top of mountains, maybe not mountains, but certainly could be higher ground. And they're picking up logs that are being harvested, put onto the trucks, and then they come down from those high points to deliver the logs to market. So, of course, going up with an empty load, picking up a whole bunch of weight on those logs, and then coming down with regenerative braking, could be extremely fuel efficient for these vehicles to operate. So just like we had heard from another company that did mining and drove an empty truck up to the top of a mountain, picked up a load, and then came down and generated all the energy they needed to go back up again because of the weight and of regenerative braking. So this is another company that's perfectly suited for the electric semi. And what's also interesting here is they have a fleet of 300 trucks, and the operations manager had indicated that if the test works out well, they'll switch their entire fleet to electric if it does what they expect it to do. So that's companies, of course. It's a very easy decision for companies to make these type of choices over an individual person buying a car. Because, of course, the fleet managers, they know exactly how much maintenance they spend, how much fuel they use, how many times those trucks are in the shop. So this is another test for the Tesla Semi. And for this application, it seems like a perfect fit.
To the penny. But you brought up a point about bringing down heavy loads from the mountain. We covered a story a couple of months ago twice, on What Drives Us, where there was a mining company that they were mountaintop mining. So basically, they drive up, and then they come down with a load, and they drive back up empty. And this mining company was actually able to have an EV truck that never plugs in.
Exactly.
It had surplus, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to dump their energy. So that's a great position to be in for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, well, if they only needed a truck to drive downhill, I know some other company they could have.
Oh, that's a good one.
But with no batteries, they'll wear out the brakes.
Oh, man.
That other company, of course.
Exactly. Our next story, Casey's got about the Model S refresh and what's going on with delivery dates.
They are moving. Times are
Day
changing.
now, right?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
So, folks who've ordered a Model S, particularly the regular Plaid and the new long range, are receiving notices that their delivery dates have been pushed back to the end of July. It happens. It's annoying, especially if you sold your car based on the original delivery date. It also leaves me curious about my buddy who got an order in on the Plaid Plus, and his said July, and I was like, "There's no way they're going to get it out that early." And I really am sticking with that statement now that there are other cars that are supposed to be delivered in that same time frame. Whereas if it had been, the standard range and the long range and the Plaid had been in delivery for a month or two, then they could add another one in with minimal difficulty. But I don't see them doing the whole list of SKUs at one time. It's not impossible for them, but it's not the Tesla way to just add that extra difficulty for themselves.
Kind of unlikely.
Right. Especially at the end of the quarter. That's just a lot of moving parts that I don't see the Plaid Plus coming out in time for his July delivery. So I expect that to be closer to the September, fall-ish that they had originally, autumn that they had originally led us to believe.
So this has been pushed back quite a bit then for some.
Some people were supposed to get it last month.
Yeah. So it's interesting and of course there's no reason as to why this is the fact. But certainly it would be interesting to know what those reasons are at this point. But of course it would be speculation on our part. But
they're
it's
not using new battery cells, right? So it couldn't be that.
Well, remember the federal government's moving a little bit extra slow with COVID protocol, and they did just introduce a completely new interior and a new steering apparatus. And
so
they did
add in on their supply ordered already, maybe.
Well, that was the other thing, as Elon mentioned, a great big thank you to his suppliers. So it sounds like he just got in a batch of chips that they were waiting on, and then add in the EPA is also part of the federal government, so the testing might not be finished.
And we haven't heard anything more about the yoke steering wheel.
We haven't heard anything negative about it, but we haven't heard anything more about it.
Nothing either way.
Yeah.
Right.
So that could possibly be something too.
There have been
because
rumors
as
and
Casey
hearsay.
mentioned, if the federal government isn't testing,
well, or not as fast as they say they should be, probably. Yeah. But like, a couple of folks went in and harassed some salespeople at the Fremont sales store, and we're told that 100% they're going to ship with the yoke, no question about it, no round steering wheels. So we'll see, because we've all talked to Tesla sales employees before, and
right.
it's hit or miss whether you get accurate information. I mean, about the same as actually at a dealership. I mean, you could run into me, or you could have run into the guy who's just trying to sell you a car. So
right. Yes.
Same thing there.
Right. And sadly, their source of news and information is Twitter from Elon Musk, just like the rest of us.
Yes. Because you don't really want them to get the advanced information from the internal emails, because inadvertent Osborning could happen. So.
Right. Yeah.
Or inadvertent insider trading.
Company-wide emails go public as fast as anything else nowadays. So.
Yes. I mean, I'm not saying they're all bad, but I'm saying that mistakes can be made, and
correct me if I'm wrong, but we've not heard of anyone receiving the car. Like, there's no customer has received a Model S refresh, right?
No customer that doesn't have an @tesla.com email, no.
Not that
right. Yeah.
It doesn't mean they haven't sold any.
We haven't seen a few in the wild, but those are probably
either employee cars or like final shakedown cars, exactly. One or the other.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I'm sure people are just chomping at the bit to get a hold of that car after putting in an order quickly and hearing that they were going to get it last month. Bit of a disappointment for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, a little bit. The way I look at it, this is, unless you're one of the people who sold your car based on the delivery date and now you're carless or Ubering or worse, then look at it as a chance for your car to be that much more advanced and that much less depreciation. And whatever's holding them up, if it happens to be actually internal to Tesla instead of internal to our government, that means that whatever that bug or complaint or just minor issue is not going to affect you when you get your car.
Right. And remember last year we were talking about, will they discontinue the S and X
Period.
Yeah, because they haven't done an update of any significance since 2015. And so I'm just glad they're still alive. Yeah, they're going to be a little delayed. That, in the big picture, that's irrelevant.
Yeah, you'll forget. I mean, just like when my car went on that tour of Alabama. I mean, I remember it, but I don't remember the name.
At the time, though, I'm sure you weren't being that forgiving.
I was not. I think we can rewind a couple episodes and actually check that on me.
Yeah, I think the frustration level was a bit high on that particular Alabama trip. Yeah.
Yeah. But at least I didn't get hit with a hurricane, so.
That's right.
nor the car. Yes.
Okay, next, going to take a look at. I was out on the road recently and spotted this car. Let me see if we can share the screen. Whoops, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
That's not it. There we go. You guys seen that?
Now we are.
This was a brilliant orange Model S that was driving on Highway 6 here in southern Ontario, and I just had to snap a picture. Not the greatest picture because of the sun wash on it, but you have to trust me, it was brilliant orange. Yeah. And the plate, of course, caught my eye and thought I would take a shot of it because it was so unusual. But what a perfect plate for this vehicle.
And then I asked Mark on Twitter, I asked him if his car drew a moving cone.
And surprisingly, no, it didn't.
Did it show a car at all?
It showed a car, just a regular car. Yep.
Nice.
Not full in the cameras, but just the orange.
Nope, not with that simple
switch. I wonder if the guy sells pylons.
Oh.
That would be even better. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. So that was kind of interesting to see. Next, Tesla recently sent a letter of grievance to the German government about the delays they've been experiencing with Gigafactory Berlin permits. And they've indicated in this letter that they are disappointed with the timelines that have been missed, and they want the German government to work to eliminate some of the blocks that are in place and time lags that have happened to them, because, of course, it's stopping their progress. And in this letter, they also indicated that they plan to have the plant open in July of 2021. Patrick, are you listening? July of 2021.
Except that that's their plan, but no, you can't.
Patrick's going to make a couple of calls on behalf of Terra, Texas.
Well, July's still a number of months away, so we will have to see. But the German government actually did respond back, and Tesla did receive an updated permit after this letter was sent. I'm not sure if all the permits, because of course there's multiple permits in the building of a factory. There are different permits for all sorts of different actions, and Tesla explained it was a bit of a paper chase. There was a lot of paperwork to be done, a lot of agencies not talking to other agencies, and that was their frustration, was that some of these timelines were missed because of the I guess the paper trail that has to be left behind. But certainly it's interesting to see that the German government came back and made a statement about how the Tesla Gigafactory is an integral part of the German manufacturing in that particular part of Germany, and they were working towards smoothing out the bumps and getting this approved and pushed forward. So they're saying all the right things, but Tesla in this letter.
about their airport that is still not built.
Right,
This is true.
right. Which the Gigafactory is fairly close to. Yeah.
This is
So-
the same. This is the same letter where they basically chastise them for being too much red tape, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't just on their own behalf; it was on behalf of industry.
Yes, and they said that the German government should put in a policy to fast-track green projects. And they said, we have no such program. Everything has to go through all the same approvals, no matter what the project.
I think I agree with Tesla here. I mean, if you say that this is your number one priority, and then it is the same level of priority as everything else, then it's obviously not your number one priority, is it?
I don't know. And it's something that if I understand that everything does have to run through a similar. You want to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. You don't want to let a company get away with shoddy plans or improper building. Materials or building abilities. You want to keep everybody on the same. But you're right. If they're saying that green is the way they want to go, you would think that they would try to make this a bit of a shining example to bring others to the table as well.
Yeah, because if it's not moved as your number one priority, then it's just your favorite goal. But then say that this is our favorite pet project. Don't say this is our number one priority, and then not act on that.
Right.
All the more reason that I put my money on Austin. Even though I knew it was the underdog, and Germany had a head start.
So what do you think comes first? Terra, Texas, Berlin, or Shanghai Part 3?
Based on the Chinese ability, I think that the Chinese Plant 6 will be done before any of them.
I mean, they opened 3 plants, or at least 2 extra plants in the amount of time that these 2 have been underway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, very good. Next, another bit of news to share, and this, of course, this picture that we're going to share right here. This came in from someone that took this shot apparently inside Fremont factory, stating that this is the 1 millionth car produced. And this photograph was sent to. It was Warren Redlich, who is a bit of a Tesla analyst, and he said that the source told him that this was from Fremont. What I find kind of weird with Tesla sometimes is that they tend not to make any public announcements on stuff like this. And it's like, this is a goodwill thing. They could definitely talk about this. This is an achievement. I'm not sure why they wouldn't.
And this happened months ago. They've had plenty of time if they were preparing a statement.
Yeah. So I'm not sure why, if this is the case, that they didn't share it for whatever reason. I don't know why that would be. Certainly, it boosts morale inside the factory. It shows employees that goals are being reached, that they're getting to certain points, and they're putting together a lot of cars. It's and again, this is not official. This is someone took this photo and sent it into Warren, and we're sharing it. But certainly, the sign on the window looks like somebody spent some time putting that in place. The ropes around the vehicle, it looks legit. But we did not hear any press release from Tesla.
Yeah, I wonder what the VIN number was.
Hockey Day's got a point about the no PR department anymore, so maybe it was somebody else's job and Elon didn't take it over. So it rolled off and nobody knew where to put it.
Nobody knew it. It put it in the PR box, which of course goes to nobody now. Yeah.
Right.
Or they figured all they need to do is put the velvet rope around it and let people take pictures, and the internet will do its thing, and the word will get out.
But there were no tours, so it took an extra couple months because of COVID.
Oh, that's right.
Oh man, but I think as an owner, if I received a car with all them zeros in the VIN, that would have been cool. But it would have been also very likely that it would have gone to somebody who didn't give a flip or understand it, and it would have been wasted. So.
Well, and it's not the 1 millionth Model 3; it's the 1 millionth Tesla. So that includes the Roadster.
Model Y, but yeah.
Yeah. So, was that a Y?
It was a Y.
It was a Y. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So certainly not the millionth Y. They haven't been making those so long. Yeah.
Almost.
Well, with that, we're going to move on to a story that I just skipped over. I'm keeping Casey on his toes. This is the Boring Company, the Vegas Loop, shown to local media. What do you got on that, Casey?
It's really cool. I can't wait to try it out. So a couple of local media outlets were able to have themselves a physically distanced preview of the Boring Loop, and right now it's running on human power and at 35 miles an hour, but eventually we'll see the humans replaced with the very cars that they're driving. And we also got a listing of the fares. I think the most expensive fare was $10, and the least expensive was like $5. So this will be...
That's not the fares for the one that opened, though.
No, the one that opened, I think, should be free by their contract. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about this.
So we got a few photos taken at the event that we'll share here.
Yes.
And of course, it is a rave, so we've got the neon colors.
Indeed. And so again, the way it'll work is you'll dial up on the app that you want to go somewhere, and then you'll walk to the station. A car will arrive with a number on it. Your phone will tell you what number to get in. You'll get in the car. You'll go where you want to go. And this whole Elon should just make a subway argument came up again, and I'm like, well, I can't wait for this thing to open to the public so people can try it, and we get some scientists in there to figure out if being able to skip a stop is actually better than having to go through 10 stops to get to your stop. And also, the guy peeing in the corner sort of thing.
Yeah, we've done subways, and they're effective for some purposes, but the way that... So when you have something like that, you have one route and a bunch of stops on it, and it really has to be a loop. Well, here you could have offshoots anywhere you wanted because everyone is point to point. And then the cars can take themselves to wherever they need to go for the next traveler. So in the end, this is sort of like a decentralized system, whereas with a train, it has to be a centralized system, and you have to stop at every stop because somebody's getting on or somebody's getting off. And so this is just something that could not have been coordinated with 1900s technology, and certainly can be with this modern technology. And the people that were ripping on it saying, what, they're only doing 30 miles an hour and they have human drivers, well, this is just ridiculous, huge waste of money. You're not seeing what it can be in a year or 2 years or 5 years. And
I'd prefer it not do 150 with me as the first passenger.
Right, yeah. So that's exactly it. You iterate and you get better with every step. And that means starting slow and starting with human drivers, and then you get full self-driving. And this is the perfect, level 4 version where it has limited. This isn't doing city streets; it's doing boring tunnels. They're well marked, the clear lines, and if they need certain speed indicators at certain sections, they can put them in a way that's very easy for the car to get right. And so I think this is an awesome idea for a 21st century transportation system, people mover, and not just doing the same crap we've done before.
And there's a couple other points. Say this fails. All right, so then you can put a Hyperloop in it. Done. Easy. So we can go back to the situation. I've already pointed out you don't have to wait on other people's stops. So if you're getting on stop 2 and you're trying to go to stop 10, you don't have to sit through all of them. You go straight from 2 to 10. You don't have to go all the way. Or worse, say you're on stop 5 and you got to go back to stop 1. You don't have to wait for it to come back around again.
Right.
You can go straight there. And then the other thing that I always like to point out when the people are just ripping on it is this is set with private funds. So it's not like anything was wasted with your taxes or your money, blah, blah, blah. And once it is proven or disproven, then these public works projects will have already had an example before they've even broke ground. So, say this is a disaster, Miami can stop, Boston can stop, they can regroup. If it works like gangbusters, they're already in the front of the line. And they've already proven their cost is lower and their speed is faster as far as to construct the apparatus than anybody else has been quoted so far. By months.
Right.
So, I mean, I understand, why fix what isn't broken, but also why not try something new every now and then just to see if you can't fix it? Because, like you said, it's 100 years old now, over 100 years old. So let's try something new and see what happens. If it doesn't work, we regroup.
Couple things that surprised me was one, the cars assigned to this apparently are the number 62. So that seems like quite a few cars. Obviously, if a convention was in play, you're going to have hundreds of people that are crowding the stations to take a ride. And of course, if Casey's in town, even if he's not going to the convention, he's going to be there being an extra person. So you got to have the capacity. But
Yes.
They had Model 3s, Model Ys, and a Model X for the media review. And and then of course they talked a little bit about that app that they would use that Patrick mentioned to click that you wanted a ride, and it would say go to car number 3, which we saw the picture of the car with the 03 on it on the front and back. And then the other thing that I thought was a bit of a missed opportunity was that the video we showed was the middle station, the one in the middle of the Las Vegas Convention Center. It's the only underground one. But I was kind of surprised there was no access to the convention center from the actual station.
It's probably security. I mean, we've had a couple of close calls.
Just when they did the pan around, I couldn't see any doors.
You go up the escalator, right?
Right. So if the convention center's right beside you, I would have thought they would have had a tunnel into the convention center.
Oh, come in on the ground floor? Well, I mean, maybe security
exactly.
requested they don't do that.
Maybe there isn't a ground, maybe there isn't a basement to go into. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
But I thought for sure that they would take the opportunity to have an underground station, have a connection directly to the convention center. But maybe the layout is not properly.
Yeah, some of the stops will have that. Another thing to point out is, say you get stuck behind a family of a lot with luggage, you don't have to wait for them to load and unload. And nothing against disabled folks, but if you get behind somebody with a disability that takes longer, they're handled. Everybody's taking care of them, but you can go faster if you can walk to the next car. Why tie it up?
So it's going to be an iteration. It's going to be steps to make this better. There is going to be a conference in, I believe, July
Awesome.
at the convention center. So this will be in effect starting for the first conference. So, and I'm sure there's going to be a number of people that will take some videos of the ride and what it looks like when it's put under the weight of a number of convention goers looking to move around.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of live streams.
Yeah, I'm sure there will.
Or at least recorded streams, because who knows if they've got signal down there.
Right. Might be a metal box, concrete box. So, but it'll be interesting.
They'll get repeaters like the New York subway.
Next, Patrick's got a little bit of a story about Redwood.
That's right. So last week...
Old tall trees?
Yeah,
tall
right.
trees.
Yes. Yes, we talked about Redwood Materials last week, and then right after we brought it up, now CNBC's bringing it up. They're copying us.
Coincidence?
It might be.
So they went out and did a nice video, and it's on their YouTube channel on CNBC on YouTube, and where they interviewed J.B. Straubel and other people at the company. And there were a few interesting facts. So, in case you don't know, Redwood Material is a company set up to recycle batteries. And batteries are running our modern world, from our electronics, portables, and our EVs. So, the cool thing about that is these materials are not vaporized and released into the atmosphere. When the battery is degraded to the point that it's no longer usable, or the product has become obsolete, you can recycle those materials and put them back into the system and have new batteries, new things made out of them. And that's exactly what Redwood Material is doing. What was the quote that JB had in there? That we need to productively disassemble them. I thought that was an interesting phrase. And so they're getting 95, 98% material recovery, and in very pure forms that requires a lot less processing than new ore coming out of the ground. So there was another cool thing in there where he said the biggest opportunity that we have for stuff today is America's junk drawers.
Yes.
You probably have old devices, laptops, things that you've just chucked, and they're just, how many people are still using an iPod, right? But they're still there. And so that's the kind of stuff. If you can find some way to get that back into the recycling system, that would be great. They hinted at a partnership that they have going on with Amazon. So if Amazon is coming and dropping things off for you, maybe at the same time they could pick up stuff and have that go right into the system here for Redwood to recycle it. Because if you think about a lot of the stuff that Amazon ships has batteries in it. They're Kindles and other things, and then a lot of the devices that aren't even Amazon branded that they sell. So if they get that partnership working as a collection point, that's great. So that's Redwood Materials.
And that's actually a good thing, because if you build for recycling, then stuff can actually be recycled. That's one of our biggest problems as consumers, is that a lot of the stuff that we recycle just can't be recycled. So we put it in the machine, even if it's got the correct numbers and we've sorted it and everything, and it still ends up in the landfill. But if the manufacturers have designed their process to come undone, and they've put in place the resources to receive those materials at whatever grade they come out when they're finished, either battery grade or just high purity, then they can then have a customer ready to go. Because part of the reason that these are being wasted is because there's not a customer on the other end of the process, not necessarily that
and you probably identified the biggest problem for them, because they're not just recycling car batteries, they're doing cell phones and PDAs and old Blackberries and whatever, anything with a battery they're taking in to break down into its lowest form denominator, to break up into the components and minerals that can be used again. So you can imagine that, trying to deal with every consumer product ever made that had a battery, and trying to break every one of them down. It seems like almost you would need a separate process for every model, because there's different layouts, different size batteries, different components in the batteries. So it's quite a hurdle, I would imagine. But I found it kind of interesting that in the video, and of course you can watch that with the link that we have in the notes, he did talk about somewhere between 90 and 95% of recovery that they could pull out of these spent batteries, which was a number that certainly is great, that we can get that type of reusability out of these pieces.
Yeah, right. One of his competitors was talking about, instead of using a smelter like he uses, they were talking about doing it cold, but their purity only went to 80% because they didn't feel it was worth refining further for the customers that they had lined up for what already came out. Because non-battery grade nickel, non-battery grade copper, aluminum, cobalt, etc., they already had enough customers so they didn't have to go through the extra steps. So I'm curious if it's a limitation of their process, or if it's just like, hey, if it's sold already, why keep going?
Yeah, the fact that you can take these materials and reuse them is great, because if you think about something like plastic, it's not really very recyclable. We accept a lot of plastic for recycling, but it's really downcycling. Like every time it goes through, it comes out as a lower grade. But if it's nickel is nickel. There's no.
It's an element, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like aluminum cans. The aluminum can get remade into another aluminum can, and So we can do the same thing with battery materials here. And every year, the number of EVs being sold is increasing. And I think the number of people using laptops and cell phones and tablets is also a growing market. So, I mean, there are going to just be more and more batteries every year. And if we can get the materials for that from our old stuff rather than mining, that's great for everybody.
Yeah, like lead batteries, for instance, they're 95%, 97% recycled because there's value and there's a process in place to get it. I mean, look at Apple with their iPhone deconstructing robot. I mean, that's one way to do it. You just have to have a plan in place and be able to execute on it. We can't lay it all on the consumer. I mean, yes, we as consumers need to hold them to account, but we don't run the factories, so.
But you know, for us pushing that everything should be recyclable is, you know, something that we should probably do as a people, as a whole.
Yes.
Is we should be pushing those manufacturers to always compensate or I guess program in to the end of life cycle for their device. What will be done with it? What is recyclable? How it could be better recyclable? That would be a help for everybody on this earth.
Yeah, or do like they do with the glass bottles and aluminum cans with put a deposit on it, or like Toyota and Tesla do. There's a core return fee on the battery. If you don't bring it back, you're out thousands of dollars if you don't bring that battery back.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, we need to start thinking cradle to cradle, not cradle to grave.
Yeah.
With that, wanted to let you know that if you haven't already, you can follow us throughout the week on our Twitter feed at the Tesla Life. Please click on that and press the subscribe, and you will get notified throughout the week whenever we get a Tesla story. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, the Tesla Life #1. Patrick, of course, curates the Facebook page, and we appreciate that. And if you haven't already and you're sitting there, please give us a thumbs up at this point in the YouTube video. That helps us in the eyes of the algorithm and gets us out to more people. And if you haven't subscribed, it's not going to get any cheaper, so you may as well subscribe now. So there's not going to be some late sale. So
this isn't Elon here. If you say it's going up, it's going up. It's not coming back down.
On to our next story. This is kind of interesting, again, with the Tesla Semi. There was a job posting for a Tesla Semi fleet maintenance position. And this, of course, was a Tesla technician that will be working directly with customers that are receiving the Semi, as well as being the liaison between the customer and the company when the groups find issues or when they have suggestions or they're it's going to be a real world person that sits with these customers and looks at how the Tesla Semi is operating in the conditions of a real job site, a real trucking company. And what was interesting here is that the position was posted for Toronto, Ontario. That was the first one posted. So it looks like Canada's going to be getting some of those semis soon. To get this person in place, maybe they'll be working with someone like Loblaws or Walmart Canada, which ordered, I believe, 150 semis. So this person will be working with these different companies. It'll be interesting to see that if this person works out of kind of like a mobile technician type thing.
That's what I'm picturing.
Or if it's going to be something different. But it gives us a snapshot into Tesla's timetable that the Semi is coming and they're getting ready with employees in the field.
I think for their best customer service experience, these should be based on the mobile technician template, not on the service center template.
So you don't think they should be driving the Tesla Semi over to the actual Tesla service center?
Oh, no, that part is fine. I'm just saying that the Tesla mobile service team is much better marks than the Tesla service center team.
Yeah, when I've had mobile service, it's been great every time. Those guys are.
It makes sense too, because of course the with it being at a company already, and those companies having the facilities to work on their trucks mostly as well. Lifts and other things are going to be available at that company typically, where the technician, if they need heavy machinery, could have access to it as well.
And you minimize their downtime. You get a nice friendly face who's, this is my account. I've got to maintain the account, otherwise Elon's going to fire me.
Yeah,
I think it'll just be a better experience for these companies to start with the mobile technician, and then say, I've got a warranty situation. I've got 4 motors down. We're going to tow this over with the wrecker to Tesla and replace all 4 motors. That would be a different situation.
Yeah, a customer buying a fleet of semis is spending millions of dollars. They should get that white glove treatment, or whatever the phrase is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Treat them a little extra respect. Put a little respect on it.
So
a lot of respect.
This is yet another hint that the semis are coming soon. As soon as Jerome moved over to from being the president of auto to just working on semis, you knew that this was coming soon. And yet we keep getting these little hints that any day now we'll start seeing the semis roll out there.
Yeah, and he's got experience in this, so I mean, it's even more of a good fit that he's built semis in other brands before, so he's got what it takes.
Well, our next story Patrick's got about the UK. What's going on there?
That's right. So this is a story that started in the UK, and so Octopus Energy is a company that Tesla has partnered with in the UK. Excuse me, and they've done feed-in tariff programs, or as we've been calling them, virtual power plants with Octopus. So when you have solar, you can get feed-in tariffs, so that net metering, as it's sometimes called, where when it's sunny out like this, it's okay to feed the grid. But typically, if you have batteries, the batteries are generally not allowed to feed the grid. So you can charge your batteries when you need to, when there's sun available, and then you can discharge them when your home needs it, or when you want to avoid the high peak rates, which is what I'm doing. But the battery is only allowed to discharge at the rate that the home uses, unless you're part of a virtual power plant. And so that's what Octopus Energy and Tesla partnered to do in the UK. And now
I think it's in Germany that this is happening. They did their first test in the UK, but this is a German program.
That was my next sentence. Is now that program is expanding to Germany. Yep, and it's going to the Baden Württemberg region, which is near Stuttgart. They are now expanding the operations into Germany, and with more virtual power plants. This is all good stuff, and they're even getting involved with homes that are designed with solar and power walls, so they can be 100% produce all the energy that they need.
So I'm wondering now, are they using regular power plant control software, or are they using AutoBidder, or are they using an interface to AutoBidder with the power plant software?
Yeah, this does not have those details. And I don't, my guess is that Octopus is doing that. They're going to know the grid load that they have. They're going to know when they have demand that would normally they would have spinning reserves or peaker plants for, and instead they'll just be able to tap into this virtual power plant with the Tesla Powerwalls for all the homes in that region that are part of this program. So yeah. That is my guess. I don't think AutoBidder is involved here.
I hope not, because as a customer, unless I'm getting a significant discount, I don't mind helping the grid out, but I don't want them making a profit off of my back.
Right. So the cool thing about this is there are feed-in tariffs where the customer gets paid. So when the grid needs it and you supply energy, that's spinning your meter backwards at this highest tariff rate, which is the only reason the customers would get involved in this, right? You're not just going to do it for the have extra wear and tear on your Powerwall for the goodness of the grid.
Right.
You need some incentive to participate.
In that case, yeah. If they're that case, I'd want AutoBidder involved. Give me the most profit possible, and then I've got a Powerwall ready to go that's got my minimum requirements and my cutoff requirements as well, and then everything else is pure profit. Yeah,
I think this is at fixed tariff, not variable cost. but again, not knowing how the Germany energy program works in detail, I can't say for sure.
I need to get a quote on a power pack.
Power pack,
Patrick,
yes.
a question: since you and Casey have a power wall, what is the length of time that power wall is? What's it rated for?
Was it 10 years?
Oh, yeah. For how long till it has
For
degradation?
the warranty. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 100% depth of discharge throughout the warranty as well.
Right. Yeah. So that means that there's some usable portion and then some reserve they're keeping so they can maintain its performance throughout the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what the did you say with 10 years, Casey?
I think it was 10 years. That sounds right.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Next, we've got a story about Cybertruck reservations. There is a crowdsourced tracker out there that has been tracking Cybertruck reservations, similar to what happened when the Model 3 was put in place. There was a number of crowdsourced data trackers as well that would record people in the different areas of the country they were in, and who ordered, and how many they ordered, and what of course variation of the vehicle they ordered. Right now, they have surpassed 1 million orders according to this crowdsourced data. So this is not Tesla, but it is a crowdsourced tracker that has been tracking it since the release of the Cybertruck on that. Gee, how long has it been? It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are 1 million vehicles. That is incredible. That number is massive. I gotta believe that it's weighing heavily on Tesla since the factory's not complete yet, and you've got 1 million customers that have lined up for this thing already.
Yep. And even if only half of them buy, that's still 500,000 cars.
Exactly. And of course, we do have to say that the entry level to put in a reservation was basically a refundable $100 deposit. So
yeah,
it's not a high barrier. When it comes right down to when Tesla starts to ship these vehicles out, then the rubber meets the road, and people decide whether or not they have the money to actually purchase the entire vehicle.
At the same time, though, most of Tesla's history, it's been a refundable deposit on these cars. It's just the amount has gone down significantly over time. With the original Roadsters, it was tens of thousands of dollars, if not the whole car, depending on which edition you got. And
except for the Y.
Except for the Model Y. With the Model S, it was $5,000 for the non-signatures. The new Roadster, took it back all the way up to $250. And but the Model 3s, they were $1,000. There were still some people who didn't complete, and some others that did. And but like you said, the Model Y was the only one that was different with all of this.
Yeah, I think it was like $2,600 for the Model Y,
yeah.
And it was non-refundable.
Yeah, that too. But they were trying to.
You were serious if you were buying a Model Y. Either that or you were silly. One or the other. But
because they didn't even have a reservation. It was just.
It was buy. Buy it now.
Yeah. They skipped that whole reservation thing.
They did. And
as soon as the Cybertrucks start rolling out, the number of people who get in line is just going to go up. There might be, like you said, Casey, there's some people that are just hand raisers and are not going to follow through. But for every one of those that drops out, there's going to be 2 more people getting in line behind them who now that they see them on the road are like, hey, wow, it does what? It has, it can haul how much? It gets what sort of range? It has twice as much torque as my truck now? I want that. Yeah,
I've got a couple of friends who don't pre-order cars ever. They just assume that all these manufacturers are lying. They've been burned in the past, so I don't blame them. But with it being refundable, I could take a little bit of a chance on it. But you've got Elliott Motors, you've got Rivion's been in there forever. I'm not saying that Rivion's is vapor. I'm just saying that they're a little bit delayed from when they promised this guy his vehicle, and several others. So I don't blame him for being jaded when the manufacturer says a new car's coming out, even if they're Ford.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody on that either. Wait until the cars are out until there have been reviews. You see if they're having problems, and then you buy it. So
Yeah.
you don't want to get one of the first 10,000. And if you do, you're taking a chance. And if you're okay with that, fine. But like if you're in the situation your friend is, where I want to know that it's real, I want to know that it's out there, I want to know that they can deliver it and it does the things that it said. You have to, get in and test drive it before you can know that.
Yeah, it's like Elon keeps telling us, the concepts that everybody else puts out, they rarely look like the real car.
Right.
And and it's just one of those things you got to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the concept Volts looked really cool.
Oh, they were awesome, like the little flat Camaros, and then we got what Mark and I got, those bubbly things.
Right. I like the one that they delivered.
And it was 3-cylinder diesel serial hybrid. Instead, we got a parallel hybrid, 4-cylinder gasoline.
It was quite
iron
the
block.
shell game, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. We got hoodwinked.
But we wanted an electric car, and that's what we got. And
That is what we got.
ultimately, I was quite happy with it. But
Same.
You're right; it was completely different from the start.
All the way through.
Well, with that, look at our last story this evening. The Boring Company, of course, after their recent opening of the Las Vegas Loop, those 3 stops, that didn't stop them. They released later in the week the map of the new coming system that they're going to be putting throughout Las Vegas, from the airport all the way down Las Vegas Boulevard, connecting to Convention Center, and all the way to the Fremont Experience. So they talked a bit about that. They also talked about that they have 2 projects that are now underway. One for the Resorts Hotel, and the other for another hotel that I've conveniently misplaced the name. But they are basically connected to the Convention Center Loop. So these next 2 hotels that they've already started working on, the tunnels, they are already connected, or will be connected directly to the Convention Center. So it makes sense that they're building it out right from what has been completed. What will be interesting, though, is will this allow them to have more? Will there be more underground tunnels? For example, the Las Vegas Convention Center one, you've got 2 above ground ones that are on the outside of it, and then of course the middle one, which is the underground, the only underground station. So if they connect to another one, are they just going to go down again and not drill a hole, or not drill a tunnel on the end one that goes to the Resorts Hotel, for example?
That makes sense.
Not really sure. I guess it would make sense that since the station is already above ground and all set up, having another set of tunnels just to go further would probably make sense financially, as opposed to reworking that station.
Yeah. And then you have the cars doing this. I can imagine that would make people seasick at 150
They're doing
miles
the
an hour.
up and down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be just at the edge of the station where they come above ground, they come into the station, and if they're going straight through, they just keep on the straight line and drop down into the next set of tunnels. So
That's the way they kind of showed it. They had all the tunnels were just there, and then all the cars were on the different levels for what they needed. I'm also curious if they'll still keep with just two tunnels, or if they're going to add more so that they can do
Right.
the bypassing.
they're going to need some sort of a bypass, you would think.
Well, they might not need it for another year or 2, though, because I think they were saying that this one could handle.
What about the switch tracks? When they branch out from the main line, how do they reconnect with the main line?
It's an on-ramp.
And work into like an on-ramp, and work into traffic again.
It's an on-ramp and an off-ramp. So when they get where they're going, they take off. And when they get where they're getting on, obviously at 150, they'll have to have some kind of traffic control. They'll probably just talk to each other and then... Because at 150, the cameras that are on the cars now aren't adequate to handle their own merging.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. It's a brave new world, and it's going to be, certainly Las Vegas is looking to be the Boring Company's, this will be their example. This will be their prime customer to show everyone else, as they've already done to Miami and Fort Lauderdale. So it'll be interesting to see how and who others will come to see this and look at it as a solution for their particular city.
And the prices that they released are half of Lyft and Uber in the area.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing is isn't the taxi cab at the Syndicate in Las Vegas, aren't they very powerful?
Yes.
That's going to be interesting if there's going to be an all-out war for fares.
I wonder if they're going to operate some of them when the Level 4 comes out. They get
That's
first
an
dibs
idea.
in Las Vegas.
That's an idea, yeah.
Because
Taxi cab pays for their vehicle
Maintenance.
to be there, and they make a cut off of the autonomized vehicle. So that makes sense.
They do their own maintenance, and if it's not up to snuff, then Elon kicks them out and keeps his own cars in there.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the map, and when I got to Vegas, well, there wasn't a shuttle bus provided.
Oh, you got a picture of the map?
Yeah, can you see? Can you put up the map? So we took Lyft from the airport in, and then we were staying on the Strip, so that was all walkable, and that was nice. But then we went to the Stratosphere, and that we had to take a taxi or a Lyft to get to, and then to go down to Fremont Experience. That's nowhere near the Strip, so that's quite the hike. And we actually ended up walking there and then taking a cab back. So having all this on the loop, just being able to hop in the loop, and I know they had those prices per ride, but it'd be nice if they just had some 2-day pass or something that you could get and use whenever you want. That would be really nice.
Very good. All right. Well, with that, we will wrap up the show tonight. Again, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe. And Casey, any shout-outs for this evening?
Well, we've got the 200th show event. Is that filled?
Not yet. Not yet. So if you want to be on the show and have a working microphone, internet connection, and camera, you can join us on the 200th show, which is coming up in about 3 weeks. So send us a note and let us know you would like to participate, and we will get you set up and do a little test and have you ready for that show.
Definitely. So for me, I've got a couple of videos I'm working on right now. I've got I got a really weird smart summon. I've already cut the video. I just want to make sure that it looks good, and I'll publish that in the next couple hours or tomorrow. And then I've got a deep dive test on 2021.4.15. They repeated what they had for the last update, where it said minor fixes and cold weather. But auto steer on city streets feels completely different, and I'm curious to see what else I find is not the same as we do these tests. I was running out to get my second vaccination, and I noticed that the car, when it was not in pole position at a red light and everybody started to move, it was no longer throttling. It was accelerating much like I would, but without running people over. And not that I would run people over, but I would get closer than the car was. And and so I'm excited to see what else we're going to find in there. And you can find that at youtube.com/Casey Green. That's KACEYGREEN, as you can see up here above my head.
Right there. Very good. Patrick, any shoutouts?
Yeah, I got a couple. I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net. If you want to know what Tesla's innovation mode is, well, you should read my latest article, carswithcords.net. Thanks.
Very good. Well, with that, we're going to roll the music. Thank you, Lee Moon, for the music that we use every week. And we will find out what's going on together next week in the Tesla Life. Good night, everyone.